to another ASMR coding video. ASMR coding video. Today I'll be doing another challenge, coding challenge using JavaScript. And this one will be adding binary numbers, so yeah. So before I begin, this is Akshan. He is sneaky and he's going to hide, and at one point he's going to swing around and pop in if you happen to find him. Comment down below the timestamp. So let's begin. So this is the challenge I'll be doing. Add binary. So given two binary strings, A and B, return their sum as a binary string. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to start solving this problem. So I get two binary strings, and my first thing I have to do, I think, is to add these two, but first I have to each convert them to decimal. So I'm going to do something like decimal. So A in decimal is, I think, I have to use number, the class number, and the method parse int. So I get a string which is A, and then this parameter here is called radix and is an optional one, and I want to put a 2, which is base 2, which is a string which is currently at binary, and I'm trying to convert that to a decimal and put it as a number. So basically this is given a string, and 2 is specify what base the string is in, and so it's going to convert that to a decimal in number type, with a type number. So pass in a string and a number. Again, I think this variable is too long, so let's do it like that. A in decimal and B in decimal. B in 2. I think that, yeah. B. The string here again. This is in binary. Convert that to a decimal. Okay, so, and then what I'll do is I do a sum. A des plus B des. Okay, so that's the sum in decimals. Okay. Okay, so yeah, these are number formats. And now, since I've got the sum in decimals, I'm going to have to convert that to a binary string. So yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to start off with an empty string. And my goal is to find the largest base 2 value that I could start with, and then append ones or zeros. Append ones and zeros. So let's say if I would start at 2048, I'm going to keep finding the largest exponent number, which is like the largest exponent that could fit in the sum, and then start from there, and then if it's larger, append 1, if it's smaller, append 0 or something. So let's begin. This is really hard to explain, by the way. like at the same time as coding and talking at the same time. So okay, so find the largest number, power of 2, yeah, that can fit into some des. Alright, so let's do let largest power 2. Let's start with 0 because zeros can exist. And let's power equals 0. And let's say while so while the power let's say exponent. That's the number I'm going to raise it to. So 2 to the power of exponent, if it's less than some des, I'm going to increment exponent by 1, and then reassign largest power of 2 equal to 2 to the power of exponent. Alright. So now I'm gonna let's do some testing now. So I'm gonna first see if this will work. So I'm gonna console log a des and b decimal, and let's see if this sum would work. Whoops. And I'm gonna call it, let's do 1 1 and 1, which is 3, I think 3 and 1 in binary. Okay, so these first two are the parameters. The first one is like 1 1 in binary, and which is 3, and then the second one is 1, which is 1 in decimal, and then 4 is the sum in decimal. And now my goal is to convert that to binary. So I am now trying to, like I said, I'm gonna try to find the largest power of 2 that could fit in 4, let's say. So 4 is in fact the largest power. And now let's test it. Let's test the largest power that can be found. This is expected 4 in this case. So expect 2 here. Expected 4 here. So and the largest power of 2 is 4, so it kind of works. Now I am going to try to test it with different numbers. So first of all, I'm going to not use this. And temporarily put it hard-coded, so just to test this part, because I've already tested the parsing and the adding into decimal, and this part I'm converting it back to binary. So I'm going to manually hard-code this and see if the largest value matches. So here I should be getting 512. And if this is 100, the largest power of 2 is 512. So I'm going to save it. And no, it is well over that. So I am now gonna have to check here. I'm gonna put it here. Maybe that would work. 512, because I've incremented exponent first, which is what I don't want. I'm gonna increment that after, and I'll go back to 4 here. That here works. No, 2 is not the largest. You want to make it, if it's equal, you want to, because here you want to make sure that it is, the largest power is in fact equal or smaller. So to fix that, I put it less than or equal, while 2 to the power of exponent is less than or equal, not strictly less than. And then now I got a 4 here. And now let's test it to make sure. Let's test a big number. Let's do 5,000. And I got 4,096, which is what I expect. Okay, so this is good. And this sum decimal is good. This, I don't need to do that. Okay. Now, since the largest power of 2 is the one that I found. Now I'm going to try to use that to convert it to append ones or zeros. To the binary string. Okay, so I start with I'm going to start with the binary string. So now I'm going to start another loop. While exponent is greater or equal to 0, I'm going to calculate the value of the exponent. So, and I'll test if the sum decimal is still larger than that, I'm going to append 1, or else if it's less than, I'll append 0. And then move your rate down, decrease your exponent value until 0. And that will give your binary value. So let's base value equals base value is let's do, I got stuck here. It's always that I get blanked out for a second and then I'm back. So I'm going to see what the value is. So let's do 2 to the power of the current exponent. And then what I'll do is I'll run an if here and check if the base value is smaller or greater or equal to the sum decimal. I'm going to take this binary string first. I'm going to move it here, and then I'm going to append 1, else here I'm going to append 0. So, alright, let's make it a ternary value. So binary string append if the base value is iterate that. Append 1 if it's smaller or equal, or else append 0 if the base value is larger than that, or else it won't fit. No, I have to do, I'm gonna do a ternary value because I want to do something if it's not equal, if it's larger, because if I would do that, I will have to, if that base value would fit into that sum decimal, I want to add 1, but I'll have to subtract sum des with the base value, because I am trying to, this is like the place value in binary, how binary works is you will have 1, which is 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, like that, increasing power and by powers of 2 since we're talking in base 2. And then if it fits, I'll have to sum decimal, or else I'm going to append 0 and not do anything else, because not subtract the decimal, because I'm trying to see how many ones and zeros can fit into that, in binary can fit into that decimal place of value. Okay. Let's see. And then I'm going to decrement exponent. And let's see, I'm going to console log. Resulting binary equals binary string. Oh. Okay, so I seem to get 100 here, which is 4 in binary, but I still get a leading 0. So, okay, I think I understand why. Because my exponent increased after the last check that it was still smaller here. And so I have to, since I'm using this value again, I'm going to have to decrease the exponent value by 1. So this exponent will still be larger, will still give you the largest power, because after the last valid check, the new exponent value is still increased. And then that gives me, this is why it gives me a leading 0 here. So now if I would do this, I won't get a leading 0. And if I don't do this, I get a leading 0. So technically this basically reverts back to the exponent, brings down the exponent value to so that the highest power, the power from that exponent is like would still fit in the sum and decimal that could fit. So that's why I get a leading 0. And before that, because it's always smaller. So I've also added some special cases that I would think of, 0 and 1, and I would expect 1. And if I add 0 and 0, I would expect 0. So yeah. So let's see if it matches. If I would add 10, 10, and 1, 0, 1, 1, I'll get 1, 0, 1, 0, 1 as the expected. And if I would run that, this is what I actually got. So this matches that case. And this one here was the previous one. This is 4 in binary. If I would add 1, 1, and 1. And for the special cases, I get a 1 here, which I would expect here. But here, I in fact got an empty string. So for that, I'm just going to do an if here. Just put, if it's equal to 0, just return 0. And here I would get it. So I think I kind of did it in success. I'll just have to return the binary string. And I don't think I would need the largest power. Maybe if I don't actually need this variable. So this, in fact, I never used it. Because I thought I would use it, so that's one variable less. And yeah, I actually did not need that variable, so. Okay, there was a much better way to do this. I could just instead of doing that giant thing, I could probably do some des return subdes sum and decimal and toString, where I input again the radix, which gives you the string in binary. Because I was thinking maybe there was a way I could go back to return subdes to a string in binary. I just found a way to convert the string to convert the decimal to binary in a string format. So like that's the opposite of this. And if I try it, I could just console log this. To console log this, and I'll get the same thing. 100 this guy and 1 for these ones. And once again, if I would get this would probably give you 0, and console log 0 here. So yeah, and I'll return that. So I guess I kind of successfully did the problem, though I tried to test in LeetCode, but it doesn't work with giant binary numbers. So I think I kind of successfully did a problem, though I tried in LeetCode, but it doesn't work with large binary strings because there will be an overflow issue with the floating point in JavaScript. So I have to find a way to. There should be another way to convert it to binary using carry addition in strings. That was the other thing I was trying to think of, but I guess I will just end this video right now. So I hope you have gotten your tingles. If you did, please drop that like button, and don't forget, if you found auction, comment down below the timestamp. So stay tuned for the next ASMR video.